So what I'm going to share with you in today's video is absolutely not fun, but it makes me over $1,000 an hour. I'm not joking. So as you can see right there on my screen, I put lots of screenshots of proof of payment. So that's money I've made myself in my company. And I also put some pictures here of me in different places, just in my everyday life. That way you can clearly see I'm not just some dude in his mother's basement making videos about stuff he doesn't even practice or do himself. Now, I also have a gift for you. So when we get to 30,000 YouTube subs, I'm going to be giving away $2,000. All you need to do to win that money is actually very simple. To subscribe, to watch the video until the end, and to share it with a friend. That's all. Now, success demands singular focus. That's what I really want you to understand. So when I got started in business, obviously I didn't know what to focus on. I'm sure maybe right now you're still lost in information overload, trying to figure out what's the best business model to focus on for you. And so I spent so much time watching so many videos online about which business I should start, what's the best business model. And for a long time I was stuck. I just didn't know how to move forward or what to do. But what I realized later on, as I really had to transform myself to make all this money, I really had to become a different version of myself. In fact, I added this picture, that's me when I was 17. You can clearly see I look very different. Sure, I'm older, sure, I work out more, but there's also something else. You can feel the energy in me in this picture when I was 17, it's dead, it's depressed, there's something missing. Whereas on these pictures, I honestly think that you can feel that something's different about my energy, about the kind of person I am in general. And not just because I'm older and not just because I work out. There's something else too. So what I learned, and I had to learn this the hard way, is that, like I said, success demands singular focus. So let me show you. This is your energy level. Maybe you've seen this diagram before. I learned it from my mentor and it's incredibly accurate. So I'm going to give you two examples. You have the same amount of energy. Just because one circle is bigger doesn't mean anything. Okay, that's just my bad drawing skills. Successful people do that. So let's say over there, it's your goal. Okay, it's success, it's the finish line. It's making $1 million per year or however much you want to make, $10,000 per month. Successful people do exactly that. They start here and they move fast. They focus on one thing, they remove all distractions, and that's how some people end up becoming multi-millionaires before the age of 25, which is crazy. I mean, just a few decades ago, that would have been impossible. Unless you were born in a privileged, rich family, you wouldn't have been able to become a millionaire in your early 20s, because even to start a business back then, the internet didn't even exist. You had to start a physical brick-and-mortar business. Nowadays, you can start a business with barely any money, which is insane. But here is where most people fail. They've got big goals, big dreams, they work hard, they're talented. But the problem is they have 10 different goals, and so they put a bit of energy everywhere, and so they end up reaching none of their goals. They want to invest in the stock market and make money with dropshipping and make money with services, and so they end up making zero, nothing, nada. Whereas these people, they get to 100K faster than anybody else, because it's a race. It's like if you're moving forward, then you go backwards, then you go on the left, or on the right, I guess, then on the left, then down, then up. It's like you never reach your goal in the end, or it takes you 10, 20, 30 freaking years. So you need to focus. You need to be on this side. But that's not possible when you miss the following things. For a long time, when I was there, I was procrastinating. I just didn't know how to put in the work. I didn't know how to be disciplined. I wanted to be successful extremely badly, and I had an idea of which business model to start, but I didn't have a clear, proven roadmap to follow. So I was lost and confused. And that's exactly one of the first reasons why you procrastinate. You lack clarity. You don't have a plan. So if you don't have a plan, you're going to end up doing this weird thing. You're going to move around in circles and never achieve anything. When people have a clear plan, it allows them to move like this. They move forward and they move quick. Because if right now I gave you a proven step-by-step process, the proven step-by-step process that makes me a lot of money every single day, every single month, all you would need to do is to replicate it. You wouldn't have to guess and to figure out what to do. You would have clarity from somebody who has been there and actually done it successfully, as you can see on my goddamn screen. So of course, if you don't have a plan, if you are currently in information overload, then yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult to move forward. Now, the other reason why you might be procrastinating is because you have a weak why. For example, when I was there, I wanted to be successful for the same reasons as later on. But the thing is, I wasn't emotionally connected with my reasons why I wanted to be successful. I wanted to be successful, sure, yes, but I wasn't emotionally invested in it. Nowadays, I wake up in the morning, I know exactly what I want, and I'm going after it every single day as relentlessly as I can. So ask yourself, really, what do you want out of life? Take the time to grab a goddamn piece of paper and to just write down what you want out of life, what you want your life to look like, everything that you want out of life. Because until you're clear on what you want, you will never find the plan on how to achieve it. First, you need to know what you want, and then you need the plan. Now, I kind of spoiled the third part for you, Sorry for that. So you are too comfortable. You don't have any urgency. Every single week I speak to dozens of extremely ambitious people, and a lot of them, they have no urgency. Like they have a decent salary, they're comfortable. They want more, but the truth is they tolerate their situation. If it was more painful, they would have been taking action. They would have been making more money, but they're too comfortable. It's like if right now you were to put your hand on a red hot stove. Don't you think you'd remove your hand immediately? Yes, you would, because it's a survival instinct. You can't not remove your hand. Unless you're maybe a masochist or you're insane, but most people are too comfortable. Be honest with yourself. Are you too comfortable right now? Because if you are, the price of comfort is your dreams. You know the saying, if you don't sacrifice for your dreams becomes the sacrifice. And there's nothing worse than that in my humble opinion. Now, you need to control these things to become successful. Now, I know it's pretty funny. There's a picture of a woman. Now, to be honest, it's to bait people into sticking around and watching longer. That's why like they've got women in commercials and things like that. Because dudes are just gonna stare at it. So the first thing you need to learn to control, it's your emotions. Because your emotions are gonna tell you, oh, I'd much rather play video games, I'd much rather watch Netflix, as opposed to putting in the work to build my business successfully. And at first, I struggled with this. When I was like back there, I would spend all my mornings watching movies on streaming websites to procrastinate, to avoid doing the work that I was scared to do. But in reality, the work that we have to do, it's not even that scary. But it's your brain, because you're not doing it, it comes up with all these different excuses and all of these fears that aren't even real. That's the worst part. So you need to control your emotions. Learn to dissociate with them. I'm not telling you to suppress your emotions. It's not possible. Believe me, I tried for a very, very, very long time, and I never succeeded in doing that. Instead, what you want to do is, let's say you get the thought to go and to play video games or to watch Netflix while you're working. Acknowledge it. Accept it. Just like during meditation, you have your thoughts. You acknowledge them without judging them, but you don't act on them. You just let them pass. And then these emotions, they won't control you. Just because you feel something doesn't mean you have to act on it. Just because you think something doesn't mean you have to act on it as well. So learn to dissociate yourself from your emotions. Learn to control yourself. Now, the other thing is, you might wonder why there's a picture of a woman. It's not to just keep you watching longer if you're a man. It's also because lust is going to keep you stuck for a long, long time. If you're so horny all the time, all you can think about is, doing the thing. It's going to distract you so much from putting in the work. And I don't know for women, because I'm not a woman, but it probably applies to the women who are watching this video too. If you're always horny, you're always thinking about doing the thing, it's going to be incredibly distracting. So I can speak to myself, and for guys, if you're always thinking about the stuff, then of course it's going to be very hard to focus. So learn to control your emotions and learn to control your lust. Lust is, I guess, an emotion. So if you cannot control it, you won't be successful. And let me share a secret with you. Very successful men, they have a lot of lust, but they know how to control it. Whereas the average man or the average person doesn't know how to control their emotions and their desires, their lust. And that's why adult websites make so much money. And something else is that at the center of life is reproduction. So I genuinely think that for your body, it's like a mission. And pretty much a lot of the things that we do as men, it's to gain status and to be more desirable to others. But the problem is that if you're always watching dirty adult content, you do your thing, then you release that energy and your body thinks you've succeeded in going up the social hierarchy to mate. But the problem is, then you have no more energy to reach your goals, because your why is weak, your foundation is weak. You don't have the drive, the aggression anymore to pursue your goals, which is what it takes to win. So control both of these things, and you will honestly be ahead of 99% of people already. And on this, I should have added to also control your attention, because where your attention goes, energy flows. If you're focusing on Netflix, video games, social media, you won't make money because you're consuming, you're not producing. Now, I want you to understand that this stuff, it takes time. Like, look, this was me at 17, this was me at 21 to 22, and back then I also had to sleep in a basement sometimes in the summer, and as you can see, I put some herbs around my bed, I had my Kindle, I had my lamp, my alarm clock, and I would put some herbs around my bed because there were rats in the basement, and as you can see, I was sleeping on a treadmill. I didn't have a bed, it was just a mattress on a treadmill. So if I went from that to having these kinds of experiences, being in a fine dining restaurant, in one of the best gyms in the world, being at the beach just like that, honestly, it takes time, but you can actually achieve it. I'm living proof of it. Now, something I'd like to share with you, and this helped me to make way more money, it was to utilize the 80-20 principle to my advantage. So the 80-20 principle basically states that only 20% of the things that we do actually bring us 80% of the results. So as you can see, we put 20% of effort, and we get 80% of results. And there's lots of things that actually only bring us 20% of the results. So for me, for example, in my business, I have to make content and I have to take meetings. That's the 20% of actions that bring me 80% of my results. It's not making a logo or trying out 10,000 different things or working on different business models or investing in the stock market or doing any of these things. It's these two activities. Usually it's 1 to 3 activities maximum. So for you, ask yourself, what's the 20% of actions that bring me 80% of the results? And I want you to double down on those, because that is how you get more stuff done in less time. And that's how you beat 99% of people. You annihilate the competition just because you focus on the right things, whereas most people are too afraid to focus on the difficult tasks they need to do to move the needle forward. But oftentimes, what I've realized, and again, I had to learn this the hard way, is that everything that you want in life right now, it's on the other side of the boring work you're avoiding. Now, something else you also want to do is to get rid of these things. Get rid of the Netflix, of the video games, of the dirty websites, of the junk food, of scrolling in bed constantly. Like, if the first thing you do when you wake up is to grab your phone and to scroll, that's why you're broke. It's one of the reasons. And the biggest myth I see people like just throwing around is that you want to have balance. You want to do your 8 hours of work per day, and then you get 2 hours of Netflix, and then you can have your dinner and you have your leisure time and that stuff. But the problem is, remember what I just showed you. Remember what I showed you here. If you do that, you put some energy into your day job. Let me just make this more clear for you. You only have a limited amount of energy, remember, every single day. You put time and energy into your work. You put some time and energy into your business, you put some time and energy into Netflix, into chores and whatever, but if you could remove this and this, then you could put way more energy into your business and you would reach your goal much faster than if you just try to do everything and then it takes you forever. Look, you're not even halfway to your goal. And that's why as much as possible, we want to remove distractions. Now, I'm not saying that you have to burn yourself out and work constantly, but for example, 6 days a week, only work. That's what it takes to succeed. And then 1 day a week, you can just do Netflix, eat whatever, play whatever, and just relax and have fun. But honestly, for me, these things, I like watching Netflix sometimes, but I get bored of it very quickly. And to me, relaxing, it would be more things like just being in the sunlight, taking my vitamin D outside, or just reading a book, a nice book, like non-fiction book, things that actually rest my brain. Because when you watch Netflix, the problem is your brain believes that everything it sees on the screen, and that's true with adult websites too, your brain believes all of that stuff is real, but it's absolutely not. And the problem is, when you watch your Netflix show, you're going to be thinking about the plot, the intrigue, the characters, even when you're not watching it, instead of having ideas to improve your business and to make more money. Because your brain is a problem-solving mechanism. It focuses on what you feed it. So if you're always watching Netflix and playing games, you're going to think about how to solve a problem in your game or how to fix the murder in Netflix, but it's not going to make you more money. But instead, if all you did was to just focus relentlessly on your work, obviously while taking days off, otherwise you burn out, you would have such a better time coming up with ideas, with strategies, and you would make way more money, believe me. Now, be honest, if you knew how to make $10,000 per month online or more, you would have done it already, okay? So you can stay like this guy, struggling and struggling, or you can get your free call with me, and together, we'll come up with a game plan for you to get to $10,000 per month as quickly as possible. The link will be in the bio. Now be quick because spots fill up extremely quickly. And with that said, I'll see you on the other side.